2 has entered the podcast.
Welcome back, people, to Player 2 has entered the podcast, that podcast about video games, nerd stuff, and friends catching up for the week. I am your co-host, Michael, a.k.a. MC Paperstacks, and with me, as always, is my co-host with the co-most,
Derrick, a.k.a. Full Metal Merc, and we have a very special guest with us today.
We do indeed. From across the pond, let me introduce our good friend and TikToker, Daniellesgames. Say hello to the people, Daniellesgames.
Hi, across the pond indeed. Very far across the pond, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm actually pleased and surprised, I should say, that our connection is going so well. We had some connections issues with a guest recently that's actually in the States with us, so I was a little concerned, but you're coming through loud and clear. You sound great.
Oh, good English connection.
That's right, good English connection. Now, I know you said you're feeling a little under the weather, but don't worry, we will take it easy on you today. How has your week been otherwise?
Yeah, good, thank you. Not much has been going on, to be honest. Yeah, I do have a stinking cold, but as I said earlier on, I think everyone has a stinking cold at the minute.
True story.
There's definitely something in the air, 100%.
Yeah.
Not COVID, though.
Something like plague times, for sure.
Right.
Well, we noticed you on TikTok, and we noticed you noticing us, and then we noticed you noticed us noticing you, and we're friends, and I gotta say, I love your channel. So,
thank you.
For those unfamiliar, Daniellesgames, you have a massive collection, like a very impressive collection, and so I wanted to kind of dive into that. I mean, I've noticed that a lot of people are like, okay, but do you have this game? And you just produce it. Like, how many games would you say you have in your collection?
See, I need to actually take the time. I've seen a lot of people, you know how they record it on the app and actually take note of what they have. I have like doubles of so many games because I forget that I own them, and I'll see them and go, oh my God, I must buy it. And then I come home and go, oh, I already got it.
Yeah, that's a bit of a first world problem, but I totally have that too.
Right.
I totally, like both of us do, because we're collectors. I will actually put you onto an app that will scan barcodes, so that way you can bring the information in quickly. Yeah, we'll talk offline about it. But yeah, let me ask you this then. Being that your collection is just uncountable at this point, when did you start collecting?
I think this is one thing that we haven't covered, so I think this might actually surprise you of how old I am.
Okay.
A lot of people seem to think that I am older because of my passion for retro gaming, but my first console that I actually had was the PS1. When I was younger, and this still kills me to the day, I wish I could time travel and just slap myself. So when I had my PS1 when I was younger, I threw away all of the cases so that I could put the discs in a disc holder, and I threw away the cases, and I'm talking like 200 games.
Blasphemer.
Yeah. So that's where it kind of started. So me and my brother, because he's just as much of a gamer as I am, that was pretty much our childhood. And then when I became an adult and actually had access to adult money, I was like, whoa.
Game changer.
Yeah, so probably about, I want to say 6 years now. On the weekends and stuff, I will go to, I think you guys call it swap meets, but we call it car boots.
Car boots, okay.
Yeah, car boot sales. So I'll go to car boot sales, charity shops, and just pretty much buy whatever I see. Looking at it now, I want to say about maybe 4,000 games.
Wow, that's
Maybe.
impressive. That's impressive.
Maybe.
I would say the American analog for car boot is probably garage sale. We do have swap meets, but it sounds like, I mean, is it like,
weird?
Is it a community, or is it like a storefront, or is it people's houses? Like, what would a car boot be?
So it's like a lot of people, they drive to a field, and to be honest, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's literally a car boot. So whatever you want to sell, you sell from the boot of your car.
Trunk. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So kind of a mix between a yard sale and
it's the exact same thing.
Yeah. So I would say
so,
it's closer to swap meet for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So I go to a lot of those, and you can actually find some pretty decent stuff, to be fair. I went to one last weekend, and that's when I think I put a video up because somebody was selling a Master System, and they were only selling it for £10, and it came with 2 games as well. And I was like, Oh my God, my heart was racing. I was going, oh my God, I need it. So that's a bit of a bargain.
No, that's a good
I
price. What
already
game
have
did you
one.
get?
Right.
So it was Sonic 2 that came with it, and I want to say PGA Golf, I think it was.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
So
So,
golf
yeah.
and arguably the best Sonic game. Got it.
Yeah. So I was a bit chuffed with that. But yeah, so that's kind of like how it started. So, and yeah, pretty much any leisure money that I have will just go on games. And I'm always on Facebook Marketplace as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm always on the lookout.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Now, what would you say is the bulk of your collection? From what I've seen on your channel, you definitely have, and this makes sense because it was your first console, kind of like Cat Icarus, I think. You have a lot of PlayStation 1 games. Looks like you got a lot of PlayStation 2 games. What would you say, what comprises in your collection?
Probably I want to say PS2 actually. Only because it's very common. I'm starting to find PS1 games are becoming more rare to find. I don't really see much of them around anymore. We have like game exchange shops and they rarely have any PS1 games. It always starts. You'll find the odd N64 game, but even shops like that, they will not even have NES or SNES. So it's kind of fading out here. But
kind of same here, to be honest. Let me ask you this then. You got into gaming when you were young, and you've only been collecting for about 6 years. What do you love most about gaming? Like, what do you get out of it personally?
to me, it's like an escape. Setting up my game room, which I'm yet to even show anybody, just because it is a little bit of a state. So I want it to be perfect before I do show anybody. But to me, whenever you play a game for the first time, if this makes sense, like takes you somewhere else. And it makes it's probably one of the only ways that I know how to relax, because it's like reading a book. If I'm reading a book, I am elsewhere. And that's what I really like, because if I really, really like a game, I'm into it, you know? And it kind of just takes you away. So it's my way of relaxing.
Great. We talked a little bit about this offline, but I thought it was an interesting story, and I wanted to kind of share it with our listeners. How did you start your TikTok channel? And second part of that question, do you have any future plans for it?
So I actually started it, so it's something that I've always really wanted to do. I've always wanted to make something with the games because I love them and they're just sat there and nobody really gets to see them. I actually caught COVID. I had to isolate for 14 days and I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And I just thought, I'm just going to make a TikTok, I think. It's not going to go anywhere. I'm just going to make a TikTok of the games. And I think the first video I ever made, I think it was Pokemon Yellow, which was literally, I didn't even play the game either. I literally just did the intro of Pokemon Yellow. And it kind of I think it got 10,000 views. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I was like to my brother, I was like, don't even look at me, I'm famous now. But, and I had 10 followers at the time and I was like, wow. Yeah, and then I just started making silly little videos, to be honest, and I never really expected it to go anywhere. And it kind of got me through that horrible isolation period where I couldn't even leave my driveway. So that was great. And then more people started to follow me, and as you said earlier on, people test me. People like to test me, and you were actually one of the people who tested me, to which you've actually been one of the only people that I've had to say, no, sorry, I don't have it.
I triumphed.
Which I
Not yet,
I
anyways.
hated.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should have replied, no, not yet.
Yeah, that's what I did. Somebody was like, do you have this? That actually happened to me recently, and I was like, not yet.
Oh, that would have been the perfect response. I should have come back with, no, not yet. That is like gold. The game that you asked for was Pepsi Man on PS1, and I'm going to be honest, I actually didn't know. I never heard of it before you actually asked for it, and I was like, Pepsi Man, as in Pepsi. I gave it a Google and I went, he's got to be joking. Sadly, I don't have that one.
It looks good though, doesn't it? You kind of want it. You want to get an endless runner starring Pepsi Man, don't you?
I don't want it. I need it.
That's awesome. All right. I need it. Do you have any future plans for the channel at this point?
I mean, no, not really. The last couple of days, like, have been a bit crazy. Like, the last couple of days, over like 1,000 people have followed me, and like,
wow,
yeah, honestly, it's crazy. And I get so many messages on there, and I've made some amazing friends on there as well.
Yeah,
which is something that I've never had before. I've got friends, obviously, but none of them, especially being a female as well, none of them care for this. So it's so cool and so cool for me to actually have like a little community going on now. It's great. I'm not great with technology, but in an ideal world, let's say if I had someone who could like teach me, I would love to do a Twitch. I'd love to do a Twitch. I only do TikTok because I know how to do it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, who knows? I'll still go on and do the TikToks because I love it. But
well, you probably know quite a few Twitch streamers. I actually am one of them. So when you are ready
before.
When you're ready to take that leap, lean on your new gaming community friends. A lot of us would probably be eager to help you out or share what we've learned, because it's not hard, but it's also not easy at times. Like, there are pitfalls when it comes to streaming, and knowing those ahead of time will really kind of put you ahead. That said, I think if you started streaming, I think just like this channel, I think it would probably take off. Whatever it is, I think you got it. You know what I mean? Because it's true that your first video on TikTok, and I wish I had known this prior, actually does get pushed a little more than your other videos. TikTok tries to get people a running start, so to speak. So by comparison, our first video got like 1,000 views, which I was like, whoa, 1,000 views. But the fact that you got 10,000, that shows like, you're in there. And then, like you said, the channel just keeps blowing up. How many followers do you have right now? Do you know?
I hit 9,000 yesterday, which I was a bit like, oh my gosh.
Amazing.
Because to me, it's never ever been about the followers. Like you just said there, like you only got 1,000. But if you put 1,000 people in a room, that's a lot of people.
It is.
Like a lot of people. And that's like 2,000 eyes. So that's, do you know what I mean? That's seen that video. So that's how I look at it. To me, it's never been about like how many people are following me, because I only ever did it because I had COVID, to be honest. And I never actually was going to continue with it once I was better from COVID. But I'm so glad I did. And I think it's because I started to make friends on there and talk to like some really cool people, especially Americans. I am honestly obsessed with America, just everything about America, American people, American accents, everything. So for me to get to speak to American people, I'm like, living the dream.
Wow. Well, we're happy to be a part of that, and I'm so glad you continue the channel too. You're one of my favorite channels on TikTok.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for agreeing to hang out with us today. We were talking a little bit about your week this week, and it sounds like, Derrick, you might have some competition for the biggest Squid Game fan, because Danny over here, she's been checking it out.
I love that show.
I have wasted tears.
For sure. Oh my goodness, where to begin on Squid Game? Because Michael he's only seen episode 1, so we're not going to spoil anything.
We won't spoil it for you.
I'm sorry. I heard it's just really emotional. Yeah.
It is extremely emotional.
I'm ready to cry. I'm ready to get out of here and just let all my emotions out. Is that what's happening with the show? What's going on?
Well, this is the thing. You will cry, but then when you finish it, you'll think, why did I cry? What a waste. That's how I felt. I felt like I'd wasted tears. Once I'd completed it, I cried for nothing.
Man. Yeah. That sounds like an emotional roller coaster. I can't wait. I'm really excited. It's blowing up. I think it's like Netflix's most popular show ever now. I think
ever.
90 countries. It is, isn't it? 90 countries. I read that, which is crazy. However, I'd like to watch it again because I watched it in English with English subtitles. I would like to watch it in Korean with English subtitles, I think.
I'm surprised that you were able to watch it in English and still love it, because I listened to it in English, I was like, oh, this is awful.
Their dub is fine. We've talked about this.
Awful. I listened to it some more.
Come on. As far as dubs go, it's not that bad.
It's the worst.
You're the worst. Just playing.
But honestly, like, just y'all know me. Rule of thumb: if it's in a native language, I watch it in that language because that's,
well, typically you want to do that because the actor, you're going to be closer to their original performance, their inflections, everything's going to match. Dubs can get lazy. We've seen that a lot with Kung Fu flicks. Super lazy. But here's the thing I'm confused about, Danny. So you watched it with the English dub and you watched the captions. Did the captions even match the dub? Because they never match the dub.
No, I'm laughing because it's really making me laugh because the first episode I watched, so it was just generic for me. I didn't actually choose to do that. I watch everything with subtitles, even like normal English shows. I can't watch anything without subtitles. So for me, it just automatically did that. And I just thought, because what made me watch it was I was seeing TikToks about it and I went, I'm annoyed because I can't relate. So I thought, I'll give it a go. I gave it a go and it was actually quite hard for me to get into it because I was watching it and I went, I'm getting annoyed because if you've seen it in English, you'll understand even the accents that they're not. That's why I'd like to watch the whole thing again in Korean with English subtitles. They just don't match. They really don't match. And the subtitles to the words it's two different scripts.
Yeah.
It's
like, hey, what are you doing, bud?
When it comes to foreign language dubs, the captions never match. That's why I was like, my brain couldn't do it because I'd be wanting to read while I'm listening, like he would do with regular subtitles if you decide to put them on.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be able to do it because the words don't match. I mean, anime does that all the time. So
yeah.
Yeah. It was difficult to get into, but then I think have you seen? I don't want to spoil it, but have you seen the first game?
Yeah, I've seen the first episode.
Yeah, so when they started that's when it sounds quite sick, but that's when I was interested, when it got a bit exciting, because with just the talking and the conversation, I couldn't get into the story until they actually got invited to the Squid Games. But at first I was thinking, what is the hype about? And I was considering turning it off, but I did give it the benefit of the doubt, and I'm really glad I did, kinda.
All right, well, if you're really if this has got you turned on to wacky Korean TV shows, then may we recommend Sweet Home.
Sweet Home. What's that about?
It is kind of like a monster/zombie apocalypse bottle show where everybody's stuck in an apartment building. And there are rich, interesting characters, and the way that people turn into monsters and the type of monsters they turn into is wild. They are occasionally, and by occasionally I mean way too much, gonna play a particular song by Imagine Dragons. Just lean into that and absorb it as part of the camp. But other than that,
eventually they won't play it, and you'll be like, "Why didn't you guys play the song?"
Eventually, you'll just start singing it on your own when you think it's gonna come in.
Right. I want to say this about that first game, the Squid Game. If you watch it in English, the girl, she's literally saying "red light." Green light. But when you watch it in Korean, there's an actual song that they have for that game that the girl sings.
Oh, really?
So it makes more sense.
Now I gotta go back and watch it in Korean too. Damn
right,
it.
Because it's like the melody is like and that's when you know when to stop.
Yeah.
But in the show it's just like red light, green light, but it's a robot, so you can't like read cues from a robot. It's just going to turn around.
But that makes it more tense. If it's just going red light, green light at random, then you're going to get shot.
Yeah, and it gets faster as well.
Yeah, it damn near makes it impossible. If you watch it in English and you're like, how did anybody make it across?
Yeah.
Because she's just going red light, green light.
I can't stand it.
Oh, God.
All right, we could probably talk about that all day. Let's move on.
Sure.
Derrick, you said you had some pickups this week. What you get a hold of?
Yeah, so personally, for myself, I got the Metroid Dread Amiibos.
Nice.
Literally no one in the state had them except for one store. And it was like 30 minutes south of me. And I said, well, I'm going to go ahead and pick these up because like I said last week, I had picked up Metroid Dread. I actually beat it the day after recording. It was amazing.
We will get
I'll
to
talk
it.
about it. I'll talk about it later.
Oh, yeah.
But
I got
the Amiibos and they're sweet. I picked up Ridley as well because they got a reprint. All the Metroid Amiibos got a reprint. I think Dark Samus, Ripley, And yeah, the Metroid Dread ones.
I don't know about that old 2-pack for the 3DS game. I'm not sure if that got a
rerun. That one didn't get a rerun.
Yeah, unfortunately.
That would be sweet though.
Yeah, it would.
Because I want it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. I've just been kind of gaming and chilling out because my daughter's been on fall break for the past 2 weeks, and I've just been like, well, I guess I'll just hang out and kind of relax and not go so hard as far as work is concerned.
Yeah, my little boy has been on fall break as well. He's been watching a lot of Luigi's Mansion. That's his jam right now.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, just watch a full playthrough, like 7 hours of Luigi's Mansion. And they go, Dad, look. And I'm like, what?
Look at the ghost.
Look, it's the hotel. And I'm like, I know what the hotel looks like, son. We've been watching this for years. Like, I got him interested in video games, but he likes to watch more than play. And he was actually, when Luigi's Mansion came out, I think he was like 2 or 3. He was probably 3. He was a little scared of it. And we played it. And he was like, I don't know if I'm going to keep watching this. But now he's obsessed, of course. He's conquered that fear. So
he's like, oh, those ghosts are kind of cute.
Yeah, speaking of watching stuff, though, I finally got a chance to see Black Widow because they're not charging me $30.
Yeah.
Free, sort of.
I'm glad you didn't pay $30.
Sort of. So I know, Danielle, you haven't seen Black Widow, so I don't want to ruin anything for people. But I will say that I went in with low expectations because people were like, the show was kind of meh. And I actually enjoyed it. The lead actor from Midsommar is in it, the one that plays Danny. She actually plays a main character in the Black Widow movie, and I kind of really like her as an actor. I think she's really good. And then Hop, I think his name is from...
Hop's from Stranger Things.
Stranger Things, he's in it, of course. And then what's-her-face from The Mummy? What's her name?
Oh, Weiss. That was her.
Rachel Weisz, I think.
Oh, man.
Yeah, from The Mummy.
I had a big crush on her.
Good cast. Oh yeah, she's a cutie.
Yeah.
But good cast all around. And I thought they would dive more into Black Widow's past. Like I thought it would be more of an origin story, and they touch on it a little bit, but more to set up the modern day plot. And it kind of takes place time wise, shortly after Civil War, and before she actually meets up with Cap and busts Cap and the Falcon and Ant-Man out of jail.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we're at with the timeline. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a solid action flick. And if you got Disney Plus, there's really no excuse not to go watch it now. As long as you don't need to wrestle the TV away from a loved one who also likes to watch a lot of Disney Plus. Danny, watch it when you can.
I've been watching too much Mickey Mouse Clubhouse on that thing. I don't get a chance to watch a thing on Disney Plus.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Which is a shame because you have put so much. Oh, don't! It's haunting me.
No. Don't sing it.
You put so much on my...
No!
We're going to need to mute him if he continues with that. This
Oh,
is my life
I actually
day.
I have the power to do that. Don't worry.
Hot dog!
No.
I love that show. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I'm sorry. What were you saying though about like your list?
My
or...
to watch list.
Yeah,
my to watch list is huge. I don't get, as I just said, I don't really get a lot of time to watch TV apart from at night time. But at night time, I'm doing my games and stuff. So when I do get into bed, I end up falling asleep. So I haven't seen any of What If. So yeah, I know. And yeah, I've got loads of films to watch, and I don't know if you guys watch it, but I watched one episode before I come on with you guys, but You came out, season 3 of You, and I really Oh, really?
Yeah.
Honestly, the first episode, I was like, oh my gosh, how? The first episode, they should have finished the whole series on it. I cannot believe they basically ended the whole series in the first episode. It's blown my mind. So right. I think I'm going to have an extra late night tonight. But yeah, it is good.
All right. Well, the only other thing I can think of as far as catching up for the week, I've been doing a lot with my Anbernic. So for those uninitiated, the last couple episodes I've been talking about this handheld I have for retro games, and Anbernic is known for build quality and also kind of being able to play right out of the box, but they usually update custom firmware that works a little better with the emulators and offers more options for emulators. It runs RetroArch in the background, but there's different cores that you can use under RetroArch for your different systems. And so I updated the firmware so it would play the higher end games like PSP and 64 and PlayStation 1 better. and I've just been working on, cleaning up the ROMs because I just kind of throw them on there, and sometimes they're not always named correctly, stuff like that. And I got my first episode of Favorite Keep Delete out the door onto TikTok. Boom, there it is.
Sweet.
So
I did see that this afternoon, and did you come to a conclusion?
yeah, I think I'm gonna have to favorite it. It's really interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I'll talk about the game
it's quite good.
Yeah, right. I was pleasantly surprised. We'll talk about it a little bit here in a second, but before I talk about the games that I played this week, Danny, let me know, what games have you been getting into lately?
Wow. To be honest, I played it quite a while ago, but I actually decided to finish it because, without spoiling the game for anyone, I completed Red Dead Redemption 2 this week. I stopped playing it because I didn't like a certain thing that happened in the story. I actually copped. I copped at something that happened in the game and went, I'm not playing this anymore. But then it kept popping up and I thought, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to complete it. So I did. And I'm extra mad. So, yeah.
So, I know you don't want to spoil it, but it's an older game, and now you got me really curious. So let's put up a big fat spoiler warning for Red Dead Redemption 2 right now. Right now. Thank you, Derrick, for the spoiler warning siren.
You're very welcome.
And Danny, what happened that was like, putting it down?
Arthur Morgan died of tuberculosis, and I just threw my controller at the wall and went, I'm not playing this anymore.
Oh,
yeah, that
I went,
sucks to find
I'm not
that out
doing
before
it.
you
I went,
finish.
I'm not doing it anymore. I refuse. And then you start playing as John, and I went, yeah, I'm really done now. I hate this game because it does. I think it's it's one of them games that I know it is a bit older, but I think it's one of them ones that people either love or hate, and it does get quite a lot of hate. I have seen. I understand why now, but I was done when he died. I went, no, not for me, and I never really gave it the chance to play online either. I was only interested in completing the story. I was like, I haven't really got anything to play. I'm just going to complete it. And it just annoyed me just as much when I completed it fully.
To play.
That is actually kind of funny.
You know what I
There's
mean.
4,000. No, we know what you mean.
I know.
We talk about that all the time. Just look at the giant
Right.
wall something to play.
If this makes sense, you've got games that you play and then there's ones that you like play, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Does
that
make
totally,
sense?
Yeah, you play them for
totally
play.
Know what you mean.
Yeah, you
It's
you play
such
some
a
and then you play some.
It's such a mental game too, because I'll think about a game that came out recently that I haven't bought yet. Let's use Metroid Dread for an example. And if I'm thinking about it hard enough or too much, then I can't enjoy any other games I have, whether I've started them, finished them, or played them at all, until I go out and get Metroid Dread and play that first. Like, I'll get in those modes where I'm just like, I can't think about anything but Metroid.
I need it.
And
I wouldn't know what that's like.
I don't. Well, I mean, yeah.
I can't relate.
Not for that game.
Yeah, well, I don't have Metroid, so I'm in the same boat as you. Like, I maybe probably could go out and get it, but I haven't yet.
I want the special edition. I'm only interested if it's the special edition. It's
That's
not,
why you can't find it. Okay. She left that part out.
Yeah, you did.
I was like, dang, it sounded like that.
I don't want it. I don't want it.
If you ain't special edition, get the hell out of my house.
Right.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, you are laser focused on the special edition. It kind of takes some of the color out of other games because you can try to play them to bide your time where you can find one. But if you're just thinking about Metroid, you're like, oh, I'm not in the mood unless it's Metroid.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think gamers can understand that sentiment. You did get into a few other things, though, this week, right? You were talking about some of the PS1 games you were playing for a bit.
Yeah, for some reason. So on my TikTok page, and people do like to test me, lately all the questions I've been getting have actually been PS1 games. So yeah, I've been playing quite a few of them. Because some I'll play purely just to record the video because I've played them before. But I like games that take up days of your life, like ones that you like go to sleep and have dreams about. Like, I'm talking like one of my favorite games, probably it's not actually on PS1, but Fallout. I love the Fallout series, and games like that I actually go to bed and dream about are games that I love. But this week I started playing the first Crash Bandicoot again, And then me and my brother like to game a lot as well. We've been playing Crash Bash together,
I love it.
which I hate. I hate it because he's actually he's better than me at one particular game on Crash Bash, which is, I don't know if you guys have played it, but it's where they're on the little polar bears.
I was going to say it's the polar bear game, ain't it?
Yeah, you just knew.
Oh my God, it thing.
Yeah, we have fights, pure fights about this game, and we have done ever since we were little, but yeah, we've been doing that together this week. What was I playing yesterday? I think it's actually called a different name over there. But yesterday I was playing the NES. I was playing McDonaldland. Do you guys call it something different?
So is it about like Ronald McDonald?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I know the game you're talking about, and I think it is
I
called
think you call it McKids.
McKids, that sounds familiar.
That sounds
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Because I've got 2 copies of it, and they are the exact same game, but one's called McKids and one's called McDonaldland. But the other one doesn't work because it's PAL, so...
Right.
But yeah, we played that yesterday.
Okay. Well, Derrick, I think, can relate to that one minigame, because recently the two of us went through It Takes Two. Have you heard of that game?
Yeah.
And we were talking about our strengths in gaming. I'm really good at quickly picking up like a new thing. So all the little mini games that you play against each other in It Takes Two, I won most of them. And Derrick's
I won
like,
like
damn,
2
man.
out of 20.
What's that?
I said I won like 2 out of 20.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I meant by most.
I'd be rage quitting. I'd be off.
Yeah, but I was telling him, I was like, but I have a cap for my talent, so if we played a few more rounds, he probably would have evened out those scores, which is why after the first time we tried a minigame and I won, I was like, well, I guess we better move on to something else.
Right, got to get the story moving along.
We got a story to play,
Figure out
buddy.
what's going on with that love book?
Clock's ticking, we got to save our marriage, buddy. So I'd recommend it, though. It's probably the single greatest co-op experience I've had in a long time. So highly recommend it. We had a blast playing it. All right. Well, I know that you had a lot of fun this week. I'm really excited about some of the games you played, Derrick. But why don't you let us in on how's it been going this week with gaming?
Randomly, I decided to pop in Tekken 7 because I haven't played Tekken in a while.
Mm-hmm.
And, just played through the story mode a little bit. And I was just like, oh, I remember this. I remember this feeling. The first battle in story mode, Nina Williams was kicking my ass. And I was Heihachi. And she kept beating me over and over. And I was sick of it. So I took the game out. I didn't want to play it anymore. Because I'm supposed to be good at Tekken. But, yeah, after that, I got into some more Lost Judgment. I'm thinking that I enjoyed the first game more just because of the story and the setting. Lost Judgment takes place kind of in a high school setting. And you're trying to like figure out some stuff about bullying and whatnot. And it just it's not as interesting as the first game so far. I'm only about 6 hours into it, so there's still a lot more game to play, but I'm still enjoying it. The extra fighting style that you get is my favorite. It's like, hey, we talked about this already, didn't we?
Yeah, Snake style. What up?
Yeah, Snake style. So, I'm really into that. The big thing this week is that I picked up Metroid Dread, and I actually beat it the day after recording, and I am a born-again Metroid fan.
That's right. You have been baptized in the
I've
fire
been baptized
of
in the
Metroidvania.
fire of
Hallelujah.
Praise!
Holy, going back in the cross and backtracking. Woo.
Right. It is so good. Like, it is so good. And I'm not trying to rub it in, but it is good.
Not trying to rub it in.
Right. I'm not trying to rub it in, but it's...
Listen,
yeah.
I don't know. If you're not playing
really
Metroid,
good.
why are you even alive right now? That's
Right,
why.
exactly.
But again,
Like,
not
the
really.
controls are so tight.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it controls so well. And even for a newbie like me, it pushes you in the direction that it wants you to go, but you still have to kind of figure out some things for yourself. Like, I got lost a few times, and then I was like, let me go back to where I was supposed to be, where I ended up. And then, like, I shot a wall, and then the hole opened up in the wall. I was like, oh, okay. So I just backtracked all the way to the beginning of the game for no reason. Cool. But
yeah, you're learning some lessons that we all learned a few years ago. But it's okay. You're
Right.
you're a baby, little baby Metroid
Yeah.
player.
yeah.
Little
He's a
baby.
baby.
Yeah.
But yeah, the story, serviceable. The Metroid games, I don't think are really known for their story like
no,
that.
we don't come.
Kind of
we don't come to
backdrop.
the story. Yeah, you're right.
But I was actually pretty interested in it by the end of it. I was like, oh shit, okay, I'm ready for the next one.
Ooh.
Metroid Dread 2, let's go.
Okay.
But yeah, I'd say go out and get it. It took me 7.5 hours to beat, and I know I've been seeing some people that are beating it in under 3 hours, 2 hours, and you get different rewards the faster you beat it. So there's a
I was gonna say
incentive to kind of speed run it.
That Tim dude from the Gamer Friends Discord, he and I were talking about it this week because he beat it this week too. And it reminded, the way he was describing it, and it kind of mirrors what you're saying, it reminds me of, a classic Resident Evil, or even some of the remakes like Resident Evil 2 and 3, where when you beat it, the next challenge is beat it again faster. Beat it again with just a knife. Beat it again without saving more than like twice. Beat it again with this gun. Beat it again XYZ, right?
Right.
So
Torment
it sounds
yourself.
like it really encourages multiple playthroughs to get through it faster and faster. Would you say that's accurate?
Oh, for sure. Like I put it in on my wife's OLED Switch, and just to see what it looked like, and then I found myself playing through the game again. I was like, I gotta stop. It's not even my Switch.
Put it down.
Put it down, bad boy. Lastly, and I know you're very excited about this. I decided after I beat Metroid, I was like, I need something else that's quick.
Yeah.
And just fun. It controls well.
Yeah.
And so I opened up a copy of Hades.
Yeah.
That I had for sale. I had it for sale on my eBay store. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to play Hades.
Mm-hmm.
And,
do it.
Oh my God. I am addicted to Hades.
So good.
Like, it is so good.
Yes.
That first night that I played it, I swear I played it like 6 hours.
Wow.
Like, no joke. Like, nonstop. Like, from TV to handheld and TV to handheld. I was going. Danielle, have you played Hades or heard of it before?
I haven't. I have heard of it though.
Okay, yeah.
But I've never actually played it.
What is it like? Is it a roguelite or like?
I would say light, because true roguelikes kind of completely reset you, and there's a lot that carries through from run to run in Hades. So I would say it's a roguelite.
Okay, yeah. And like you've said everything I'm about to say before, but the way that they work dying into the story is genius. It's genius.
Yeah.
Like, it does what the Dark Souls series I feel should do for you as far as dying, because when you die in Dark Souls, like, you just lose all your shit.
Yeah.
And then you have to go back and try and get it again. But
they kick you in the teeth when you're down.
Yeah. In this game, when you go through an escape attempt, you get different boons from different gods, and each escape attempt, different gods give you different abilities and stuff, and you never know what god is going to show up to give you what ability. And you can just like customize each playthrough the way that you want, with different weapons, different power-ups, different upgrades, and it just makes it like a fresh experience every single time you try and play through it. And like they add new enemies, and some of the bosses change up, do have different attacks. It's a fucking masterpiece.
Right?
And now
can you see why I was so conflicted about making it my game of the year alongside Final Fantasy VII Remake? I was like,
Yeah, I understand why it was game of the year. And the dialogue is amazing. It never gets old. There's so much of it.
Every single person in that game is sexy. Everyone.
Except for Aphrodite.
I mean, it depends on what you're. Dionysus is sexy, Zeus is sexy, Poseidon is sexy, Hades
is a bad boy.
Like everybody, and they even made Medusa sexy. Little Dusa, how do you do that?
I feel like I look at Little Dusa like a daughter, so I ain't.
No, she's romantic interest. She's just like super shy. Like you can date her, but it's like it's cute. I don't know.
You can date. You can date the characters.
Yeah, but when I say sexy, I don't just mean like sexual. I just mean like their voice acting, their writing. Everybody is just like fucking cool. Like invite them to
everybody's
the party.
So confident.
Yeah, God, I love that.
Even
game.
Chaos, I'm just like, ooh, Chaos, come here, boy.
Chaos is like, oh, you came. I don't really care. Do you want a boon? I love it.
I made it to Hades, I think 3 times.
Okay,
and the last time that I made it to him, I beat him, and I was like, yes, I beat the game. And then he was like, let me refill up this health bar.
Phase 2, boy.
Right, I was like, why did I not think there was a phase 2 in this? I was just like, I literally put the controller down like, yes, I did it. Yeah. I'm such a capital G gamer.
Oh my God. Nope. I caught that moment on stream because I streamed that game. I had like 11 episodes on stream. And when I beat him the first time, I did the same thing. I was like, in your face. And I was celebrating. And then he was like, what? And I was like, no.
Yeah. I will just say this to anyone who hasn't played it. It does not get old.
Oh no!
Like
so
every time you die, you want to just immediately go back through. I think I'm on escape attempt like 25.
Now, see,
I don't know how many hours I've played.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter because it's great.
Yeah,
I have beaten it all the way on Switch. Like I got the ending and then the extra ending. Like I have beat that game.
I'm not doing all that.
And then, well, you might. But when it came out on Game Pass for free, I went and played it again, and then like got halfway through, and I'll probably continue to play it here and there. But like it's so good. Like you said, like it is such a solid marriage of gameplay and story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's beautiful. So yeah, that's what I've been playing this week, man. But what you been playing?
Oh boy. Okay, so I got further into The Evil Within. I'm playing that on Fridays on my Twitch stream. Twitch.tv/MCPaperstacks, always be plugging. And I'm really, enjoying it. It's scary. It's weird. Not really much else to say than I haven't said in previous weeks, but, it's a fun game to play for October for sure. And as far as recent games, actually, let me get into, we talked about the Anbernic. So my first episode of Favorite, Keep, Delete, I played Kong, the Eighth Wonder of the World for the Game Boy Advance. It's basically the King Kong movie, the game, but the Game Boy Advance version, not like the original one that came out on 360 or whatever.
Okay. I thought it might have been the animated series one.
No, you can tell it's based on the movie because of, the characters and all that.
Right.
But it's surprisingly competent. Like
What?
You start off with some really cool 2D art. You're on a boat approaching Skull Island, and the mist kind of rolls away, and you see the big skull on the side of the mountain. And then you're playing as 3 characters, and one has a gun and a machete. Another one can like craft grenades to get into areas. Another one heals you. And then, at one point in the story, you switch to King Kong, and it's like a beat 'em up, and you're fighting dinosaurs. And you switch back to the people, and they got to rescue one of their own that was kidnapped by Kong, and it kind of goes back and forth. So the gameplay is fresh. There's a lot of elements of puzzle solving and crafting and exploration in the game, mixed with like the beat 'em up segments. It's great, actually. So, yeah, Danny, like I know you asked me earlier, but once again, favorite, keep, delete, I'm thinking favorite. I'm thinking it's going to be one I want to continue to play.
Yeah, I did see it on TikTok. I did think so. I think everyone else agreed as well. I did have a look at the comments.
Oh, I haven't looked at them in a while, but yeah, people were.
I think everyone else agreed.
I always worry when I do like a 3-minute video because TikTok is really better when things are short, and all our videos that are shorter usually do better. But at the same time, these are probably going to continue to be 3 minutes. So the fact that I got that much interaction on a 3-minute video, I was like, oh, hey, okay, cool. That's great.
Yeah. Next. No.
Well, yeah, you can't go past 3 minutes, unfortunately, or I probably would because I'm that crazy. So, imagine doing captions on like a 15-minute video.
Oh, my God.
I'm not. Anyways.
Gamers be like.
But I've been continuing with Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut, and I finally got to Iki Island. Iki. So, for those who don't know, you have to get to Act 2 before you can access Iki, which means you have to save Uncle Daddy Shimura for the first time. And Uncle Daddy's like, I heard what you've been doing. I don't approve of it. And I'm like, yeah, I know. And I know at the end of the game it's gonna come. I got to go to this island. So I went to the island, and I ran into the big bad of the island. And I don't want to ruin it or spoil it, but I will say this because this dynamic I think is so cool. Batman villains. Let's use them to kind of describe the difference between Khotan Khan and what they call the Eagle.
Okay.
If Khotan Khan is Ra's al Ghul, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then the Eagle is Scarecrow.
Okay.
Yeah. There's some psychological bullshit going on Iki Island, baby. Also, there's a really good explanation and kind of context applied to Jin's father's death. We think we know what happened. He died in front of him. He didn't save him. He feels guilty. But they expand that so much in this. And you learn a lot more about who Jin's father was as a person, why he was killed, the circumstances surrounding his death. even circumstances surrounding Jin, and it really recontextualizes completely how you feel about that scene. The writing and the stories are top-notch, just like in the main game. This DLC or expansion feels really fleshed out. It feels like The Witcher 3's...
Blood and Wine.
Blood and Wine, thank you. It feels like The Witcher 3's Blood and Wine. Like, as far as how robust it is. The island looks visually different. I mean, there are some similarities because it's still Japan, but they add enough new stuff to really kind of differentiate it. There are new side activities. There's new ways to use some of your tools. There's additional abilities, additional armor, and cool thing you can do with your horse. There's all kinds of fun stuff. So I don't want to go too much into it to ruin it for those who haven't played it yet, but is it worth it? Yeah. I paid $30 on top of the $60 I paid originally for the game just to upgrade it to the PS5 Director's Cut version. And at first that kind of stung a little bit with the wallet, but now I don't regret it at all. So
cool.
Yeah.
Good to hear.
Yeah. And then the last game I played this week is Back 4 Blood, the spiritual successor to Left 4 Dead. Woo! It's on Game Pass, baby. And yeah, I played it with a lot of friends. Again, a little shout out to Gamer Friends and their Discord. A lot of cool people on there. And I haven't really developed my own internal group of online people. So just to be able to hop onto their Discord that already has like 100 people and go, hey, who wants to play Back 4 Blood? And there's always somebody available. It's all kind of awesome. But Back 4 Blood, there's some mixed feelings about the game from people who are used to Left 4 Dead and also people who have criticisms about the solo mode versus the campaign. In solo mode, you can't earn achievements or earn any points to buy cards, which is a big thing in that game, and I'll explain the card system in a minute. And it's more of a practice mode where you have access to all the cards, so you can kind of mess with different move sets, I guess, in the game. But essentially, you're going from point A to point B with 3 other players. Either they're humans or bots or a mix of the two. And you got to get to the safe house before all the zombies, kill you. The cards really come into play because there are a lot of cards that can add to your firepower or how much money you find out in the wild. Maybe you can break free of certain zombies' grasps, or you regenerate health when you attack with a certain weapon. Maybe you remove aim down sight, but your melee attack gets stronger. Like, there's so many customizable builds in that game. That's where the game really shines for me. I love going through the campaign, earning points, then using those points to purchase cards to make my next run that much better. In the beginning, when you first start the game, you can pick usually 1 or 2 cards depending on where you're starting, and then you get a new card for like each level that you do in an act. And you can find cards within a level too. But since you have your deck that you build out, you kind of know which cards are coming and which ones you want to pick. And you can make a deck specifically to make you like a medic, maybe heal the team. Make a deck that makes you more, utility based. Maybe you're good at items or finding items. Make a deck to do a certain type of damage. You know what I mean? So it's really strategic and it's a lot of fun. I played crossplay. I was on the Xbox Series X and I had friends on PC and it was smooth as butter. Didn't have any real hiccups. Way smoothed out from the beta version. Looks better too. I mean, overall, I super enjoy Back 4 Blood, and I'm going to probably be continuing playing that in the weeks moving forward. If anything, just to kind of build out those decks and see how it affects gameplay. So
cool. I just hate that there's no local co-op, because Vicky really wanted to play that game because we played Left 4 Dead for a little bit, and she was like, really into it.
Would you say it's better than Left 4 Dead? Because I see a lot of people, they come hand in hand. They're either one or the other, I find.
The main difference...
I've never actually played Back 4 Blood.
Yeah. The main difference in from what I can see, because I wasn't a huge Left 4 Dead player, is they focus more on aim down sights, and I don't think even with sniper rifle you can aim down sights or do like what we call ADS in Left 4 Dead. You can also sprint, and there's a huge focus on hauling your ass out of one area to another because you get a lot of like hordes coming after you, and they can slow you down. And from what I remember, there was just one movement speed, whether you're going forward, backwards, or sideways in Left 4 Dead. So there's no stamina system. Other than that, it's really similar. And again, feature-wise, that lack of local co-op is going to piss some people off, and I totally get it. And honestly, I wish they had it too. And I wish that you got more rewards for playing solo. People have found ways to work around getting rewards for solo where they play campaign, but they hop back out and then hop back in, and then it forces bots to join. Or they wait the full 10 minutes without allowing anybody to join, and then they start up with bots, which is kind of another weird workaround to play solo. But as far as local co-op or the features you would expect from like a single player experience. It's just not there. Like, it's definitely, you're going to need some buddies to play with you or play with Randy's, which, again, nothing wrong with playing with Randy's. I do it from time to time. It depending on who you are, it can be a different experience. It's a lot easier for me to hop in because I don't have to, suffer the misogynistic or racist slings of the average Randy. Again, your mileage may vary depending on what kind of online experience you typically have with people you don't know. So, that said, I think it might be time to get into gaming news. Gaming news. Music's coming, people. I promise. We're working on it. Anyways, we have a couple of smaller stories before we get into a big story. And I swear, again, I told this before, this is completely random. This is just a coincidence that the news this week is actually UK and London focused, which I thought was kind of cool. But Sony is trying out with a quote-unquote game trials system where they offer current games to play for a limited amount of time to try them out. And they're trying this system right now in the UK and Canada. So right now, you can play Sackboy: A Big Adventure or Death Stranding Director's Cut for free on the PS5, just cuz. Cool. And they recently added Biomutant to that list for the PS4, because I don't think it has a PS5 version yet. So if you're in Canada or the UK, and you have a PS4 and you're like, oh, try out Biomutant, or you have a PS5 and you want to try out Death Stranding and Sackboy, you can do this right now. And hopefully if it goes well, they expand it to the US and they expand it to more games, and, maybe there'll be more of an unofficial demo. It's like a timed, a lot of amount of play. Like, we'll let you play this game for, 7 hours, say if it's like a 50-hour game, that type of thing. So,
right.
Yeah. The other small story, also Sony focused, is in regards to the CEO, Jim Ryan. He's had a few interviews this week talking a lot of shit about how, I just want more and more people to enjoy our games. The average blockbuster, you get like 30 million people enjoying it, but I want hundreds of millions of people to experience our games. And I'm over here like, do you though? Do you? Because the way Sony's been acting this generation does not instill confidence. They don't focus on indies. All they want to do is sequels to their big budget games. They put stuff on PC, but like years after release. They've been really skittish about crossplay, and it doesn't seem like they're really wanting to focus on anything but huge, well-established IP AAA titles. I mean, am I wrong here? Am I getting the wrong vibe?
I mean, no, it sounds right to me.
Yeah, it just seems really at odds with their current model, their business model. So I've made no bones in the past. I'm not really a big fan of Jim Ryan ever since I heard him talking shit about PS3 graphics. And it's just like, I don't think he, three of us, I would categorize the three of us as retro-friendly gamers. Like, we like retro games. And the fact that, Xbox is making all theirs backwards compatible, accessible, Nintendo's doing, what Nintendo do. It's better than PlayStation right now. They don't seem interested in backwards compatibility or bringing their robust back catalog. I mean, Pepsi Man shouldn't be something you have to go out and find at your local car boot, okay?
It should be on the store.
You should be able to just go online and go, there's Pepsi Man, and play that damn thing. Why? Yeah. This is the reason why, if you have to go out there and pirate games or do your ROMs or whatever, I mean, to me, I never feel bad about downloading ROMs if it's something that the store either doesn't sell at all or makes it extremely difficult to obtain, right? Mm-hmm. At that point, they're not losing any money, so I don't want to hear it. So, right. With that said, we have some very positive news this week. Actually, today, the Animal Crossing Direct dropped, and oh my god, Speaking of which, can I just say I kind of miss the old Animal Crossing music a little bit more. I mean, the new music is cool, but I mean, I'm forever a fan of the GameCube soundtrack. I'm rocking with the GameCube. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That music just hits different. I don't know. Anyways, that's a sidebar. So, a massive free update, the last major free content update for Animal Crossing, is dropping on November 5th. And from what we saw at the most previous Direct, I thought it was just going to be the Roost with Brewster. Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, here comes the Rooster. Right? Added to the museum, but there's so much more. Now, I've been talking a lot, so I kind of want to ease off. Danny, as our guest, I know you watched the Direct today. Was there anything that you learned or saw that really stood out to you?
I love the fact that they are bringing back gyroids because I think it is so boring just digging up fossils.
I agree.
I find it so boring. I played Animal Crossing on the GameCube and the DS, and when I first got it on the Switch, I didn't know that it wasn't a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's really cool that they're bringing that.
Yeah, I actually put in my notes, gyroids are back, baby! Smaller, cuter, customized, grown in the ground.
Yeah. Not only that, they make the coolest noises. And I used to, in my on my DS, I would have like them all in my house.
Mm-hmm.
So I am excited about that. And cooking.
Yeah.
I heard that as well. Cooking.
Yeah, so I haven't played Animal Crossing since about a few months after launch, because we'll get into a sidebar about it later, but me and Animal Crossing have a weird relationship. But has there always been farming? Because they came out to like pick radishes and carrots and stuff from like a field. Is that in the game right now? Can you farm? I mean, I know you can have orchards, but...
Yeah, so no, I haven't updated it for a while, to be honest, because again, it's one of them ones that I come back to and I have a love-hate relationship with it. I do love it really, but it's one of them ones that I don't play all the time, and then I come back and I'm just on Weed Island.
Right.
That's the story of my life. Every time I come back to it, it's just weeds.
Weeds and roaches. You're like, oh my god,
It-
where's
yeah,
the
it's
roaches
just-
coming from?
Yeah.
Weed. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Just come-
Weed Island.
Yeah, just coming back like, man, I just really want chips. Yeah, I was gonna sidebar it, but I'll just talk about it now. I get really into it for a while, and I customize my island. I have lots of fun with it, and then if I miss a single day, I get bummed, and then so I miss another day, and then I miss a week, and then I miss a month, and then like I can't go back and face them. I left too long.
Yeah, and then you return into nothing but Weed Island.
Yeah, exactly. But this actually might get me back into it. So I don't know if it's part of the update or not, but they did show the character going out and picking vegetables, and like you said, cooking. Kind of like the crafting recipes, there's going to be cooking recipes.
Yeah, and I think you can buy some as well with the Nook Miles.
Mm-hmm.
I think I read. So yeah, I think that's quite cool.
Yeah. Anything stand out to you, Derrick?
Not really. I was kind of just watching it because I told Vicky about it.
Mm-hmm.
I said, hey, babe, you know, there's an Animal Crossing Direct that happened today. She's like,
Vicky
what?
Yeah.
Literally like going off about every single thing that they mentioned. It was so funny. I ever recorded a video of it. Like, she's just like, you can cook?
Oh my god.
Oh
Put that
my
on TikTok.
god.
You have to put that on TikTok. You have to.
Well, I can't.
Oh, was she not decent?
I can't, but she's not decent. So
Oh.
I can't. But
Tell her next time she's reacting to Animal Crossing that she needs to be wearing clothes.
Right? It was funny though. She's just so into it. She's like, she's definitely going back to it.
Mm-hmm.
And then they started showing like the stuff like you can go to. She's like, you can go to work.
Yo,
What?
you can get a job?
Right, exactly. You get a job.
Let's get
And
into that in
then-
a second. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no! And then it started to set in when she was like, I don't want to pay extra to do this stuff that I already do with my current island.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
For other people. So it just, that kind of got her out of it. But she is here for that free update, though.
Okay, well, there's
She's
good
doing
news about that coming up, and we'll get to it in a moment. But let's talk about the free update real quick. So, we talked about the Roost. You can invite characters to coffee with your Amiibo. So if you have Amiibo cards or, the physical Amiibo, you can scan them and have them over to have coffee with your friends or your real-life friends, of course, when they visit your island. Cap'n is back, and Cap'n can take you to an island via his boat, sea shanties and all, which I kind of missed. And the islands he takes you to have different seasons and time of day and different flora and fauna, so they're a little bit more special than the islands you fly to in the base game. Harv, the photographer, created a plaza with shops, and so you can invest bells and supplies and get just a regular access to Sahara, Red, Kix, Reese and Cyrus customizing furniture that maybe you can't, Katrina. All the homies are coming to the plaza, and there's even groups stretching in the main square of your town, and you can use motion controls, which is optional. You can use buttons too, and stretch with the Islanders. I thought it was so cute because they were all standing in front of the community center, and one of the Islanders was like slightly behind, like she was a kid. She was offbeat. I was like, oh, that's realness. I love that. There are island ordinances that you can set to adjust everybody's eternal clock. So if you're more of a night owl and every time you get on Animal Crossing, everybody's asleep, you can make it so everybody's a night owl like you are, which I thought was amazing. They're offering more exterior options and increasing the storage expansion from 2,400 pieces to 5,000. That's amazing. You get new items, like you said, the cooking DIY, lighting and ceiling decor, so you can hang shit from the ceiling, and then you can even do accent walls, so you can have a wall that's a different pattern than the rest of the walls. Yes, give it to me. More bridges and inclines, new fence types. The handheld camera mode. It's basically like first person, right? You can walk around your island in first person and take pictures, or you can set up a tripod and be in the pictures. More hairstyles, pattern, which I thought this was already accessible, but they made a big deal about how patterns that you create can be worn on your clothes or placed on floors and walls, which I felt like you could already do, but whatever.
Yeah, I swear you can. I think,
right.
No, you can.
Yeah, because maybe it has something to do with like a new design feature. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
More reactions. They have the Island Life 101 app to kind of help guide you on different aspects of the island. Maybe you don't take advantage of, so maybe like a how-to. I don't know. They have a new furniture item, outdoor storage, so you can place a shed outside that connects to your home storage. You don't have to go all the way home just to store your items. Same thing for the ABD, where you access your bells. You don't have to go in the community center. You can set up an ABD anywhere in the island as well, which is really cool. New songs with KK Slider. Permanent ladders you can put on cliffs to go up and down them, which is great. You can also now walk through narrow spaces. So if you're really packing your house full of furniture and you're like, how can anybody get through here? They've learned how to kind of walk sideways like we do in real life. Very cute. And occasionally residents will visit your house and they will invite you to visit theirs. So it's kind of more like original GameCube, which I feel like people didn't come over to the house in GameCube very often, but they would invite you, obviously, to theirs. Now, that's all free, and they did talk about a paid DLC. Also dropping November 5th for $24.99, you get a job. It's called the Happy Home Paradise. And you help characters, like you fly out to this group of islands, and it has like all these different terrains like desert and snow and grass and whatever. And people hire you to acquire their dream vacation home. So the example they gave was, I want a house with a lot of bears. I want a bear theme. And so you grab bear furniture and kind of put it all up. They added partition walls that you can put in the houses, columns. You can adjust the lighting, various height counters. I mean, they really went to town with how you can customize these houses inside and out. And of course, you take all those designs back with you to your house, and you can put them in your house as well. And the money that you earn from this job will get you access to rare or unobtainable otherwise furniture that you can buy for your island when you go back home. So there's a whole, aside from getting practice designing and getting different ideas through like the work that you're commissioned to do and access to the partition walls and other things, you now get this unique furniture. So there's like a whole lot that you can do. And you'll get tasked to make facilities like restaurants, hospitals, and shops, and libraries. Like, I thought that was amazing, actually. I was like, this feels more like a video game. I'm into it.
Right.
And again, you can scan Amiibo to select clients. So if you're like, I really want to build a house for Mr. Rossetti, scan Mr. Rossetti. Now, again, I don't know if this actually works because I tried to scan him for, Harvey, for the photographer, and he didn't show up because he's a butt. But if he does show up, that's awesome. Now, the whole paid DLC thing, there's good news here and sort of not so good news. I guess it just depends on your outlook. The Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack. They talked about that at the last Direct too and said that pricing was imminent. They revealed the pricing during this Direct. The normal pricing, I think, for an individual per year is like, what is it, $20?
Yep.
And then for a group, it's $34.99 for 8 people under like a quote-unquote family. Mm-hmm. The individual pricing for the expansion, which gets you the N64 games and the Genesis games, is $49.99. But they're throwing in this DLC as a part of that deal.
Oh.
Yeah. Which tells me one of two things. Either they're just trying to soften the blow because they've like more than doubled the price, or they plan on releasing other DLC that they'll make free to Nintendo Switch Online members. Because it's just weird. Like, you could just get the free DLC, and then, drop it. You know what I mean? It doesn't really make sense to me that they would add that in if it's not literally ongoing. The family price for the expansion, the DLC, the N64 games, the Genesis games, is up to $80 a year. So you went from like paying a few bucks a year if you're in a family of 8 to paying $10 a year if you get a full pack of 8 people on the same plan. Again, comparatively, still really cheap, but when you're just comparing the original price to this price and not, other prices, or just like how much money that really is in the grand scheme of things, it's a significant jump. It's more than double the price. Right. So some people are pretty salty about it. Again, $10 a year, and again, I have 7 people I can do this with. It doesn't really hit me. I mean, what do you guys think?
Go ahead, Danielle.
I think it depends. Obviously, your pricing is different to mine. So mine is £3.50 a month. Mm-hmm. Mine's monthly, so I don't know what that would be into dollars. Probably about the same. I think when you stretch it out over the year, I think for what you get, to me, it's worth it. But then I'm awful with things like that, to be honest. You could tell me it's £200 a year and I'd go, okay, I'll take it.
Here.
Okay, just give it.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
did you say that we can play Star Fox 64 or Lilat Wars, that we can play that online with our friends? Then
right.
Yeah, what are we still talking about? Take the money.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. When they're throwing stuff like that out, just drain my bank account. If they're putting stuff like that out, just take everything I have.
Fair enough.
So yeah, I think, to be honest, I think it's worth it. I think with this update, I think it'll bring a lot of people back to Animal Crossing, because I feel like it can get a bit repetitive and a bit boring. So I feel like it's a positive move.
Yeah, I'd completely agree. And I'm sorry, Derek, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say, I think it's worth it. When you think about it, for $20, you were getting the online play and NES and Super Nintendo games, right?
And the games are being constantly added to. No games going out, but a lot of games coming in, right?
Yeah, and now you're adding $30, but you're getting more updated games in the N64 library, and arguably better games in the Sega Genesis library. These games that are coming out, we've talked about, they're not like cheap games to go out and get if you want to play them. Like, I could go out and find this for $2. No, you can't. Some of these games are like $200, $300 games that they're just throwing on the online for $50 a year.
Yeah,
a year.
Yeah.
If they were talking about a month, okay, but we're talking about a year here. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You pay PlayStation $60 for PlayStation Plus, and you get shit games each month for free.
Yeah.
Not shit games, but like games that you would have already played. You know what I mean?
Because they're really old.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the ones that are
Moderately
comparable
okay
would be Game
games.
Pass. Game Pass is still better, obviously, but it's a lot more expensive because it's like $15 a month.
Exactly. So, and Game Pass doesn't have Star Fox 64.
Yeah, the thing that sells it for me is just how
Star Fox 64?
It's just how hard it is to emulate N64 games consistently.
Yeah.
N64 emulation is spotty at best. So having access to these games and knowing that they're going to add more and more, that's to me is going to help me run through that library. Like I can go back and play Paper Mario. Hopefully they'll release Mystical Ninja with Goemon, which is my favorite N64 game. You know, like Sin and Punishment. I'm interested in playing that since it never came stateside. Like, this is going to be fun. It's going to be cool.
Yeah,
I'm into it.
Awesome.
Well, moving on. We got a listener question this week, and I wanted to share it with you guys. It's topical. I mean, in a seasonal sense. So, Shannon K writes in, hey, it's October. What is everybody's go-to horror or spooky game? What game do you regularly go back to play something spooky? Or what do you like to play in the spooky season? I gave this question to you guys earlier today. I don't know if you had enough time to kind of really think about it. But Danny, did you have anything?
Kinda. See, only because they said horror. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if this would fall into that category. But I'm going to say Doom. Only because that game used to terrify me. And I even still find it quite jump scary now. Mm-hmm. So I would probably go with Doom. I used to play it with my brother on the PC. That's when I first started playing it, and I would actually do the moving and he would do the shooting on the keyboard, and we would be squashed together. And every time there would be a cyber demon, he'd run down the stairs and we would die because he was so scared of it. So probably, because they said horror, I would go with that. But spooky, probably Luigi's Mansion on the GameCube, I'd say.
That's a good one.
Only because I'm not really a fan of horror games.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a bit of a baby.
Yeah, like Dead Space or
I
Silent
don't-
Hill or Resident Evil.
Mm-hmm.
Scares me.
Okay.
Resident Evil scares me.
Okay, note to self, get on TikTok and ask her if she has Resident Evil. Okay,
Right.
there we go.
I've got it.
I know you do.
I've got it. I just can't play it. It scares me.
All right, how about you, Derek? You got any go-tos for the spooky season?
Yeah, so I don't really go back to games per se, but if I were to be one of those people that play spooky games during Halloween, I would definitely be Dead Space.
Yeah.
Because everything about that game is scary. The atmosphere, we've said it before multiple times, they nail the atmosphere and the ambiance in that game.
The sound design is fantastic.
Yeah, like it just makes you feel, even though you're pretty powerful at a certain point in the game, it still makes you feel kind of helpless.
Mm-hmm.
I would say Dead Space. And the other game that I would say is more spooky that I would go to is PT.
Okay.
Yeah, PT, I remember when it first came out, and it was all the rage, and everybody was playing this, talking about how scary it was. I was like, whatever, it can't be that scary. And I'm like a baby as well when it comes to horror stuff. So I was like, whatever, it's not going to be scary. What's this, PT? I'm going to download it, I'm going to play it. And I was like, oh, hell no. When, what is that ghost lady's name?
I don't know what her name is, but
It's
ghost
like
lady.
Lisa or something, but the ghost lady that if you turn around, she's like, just shows up and she's like, starts shaking you. And then you end up back in that dark room.
Mhm.
Then you hear the baby crying and you go into the
baby's
bathroom
creepy.
and there's like a fetus in the in the sink and it starts talking in like a radio voice and it's
It's
just
like, hello,
creepy.
how are you doing?
Right.
It's like
A man and a woman
it's
were living in
almost
a house.
1 a.m. here. You're gonna give me nightmares.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
that's
I'm
right.
sorry.
I forgot.
Oh,
Well,
I'm
yeah, you're
sorry.
5 hours ahead. We gotta go easy.
Yeah, you're gonna give me nightmares. I'm
I'm
actually
sorry.
pretty sure that game was banned. I swear that game got banned.
It
Yeah,
Yeah,
Am I
no,
wrong?
they took it off of the store.
Yeah,
for
so
sure.
Konami didn't
Yeah.
necessarily ban it, but because of the bad blood between Konami and Kojima, who was working on Silent Hills, which this was a playable teaser for, they actually pulled it from the storefront. So even if you downloaded it previously, so you held the license, you couldn't go find it on the storefront again. I have it on my
Oh.
PS4, and I will never delete it because once it's deleted, it's gone for good.
Yeah,
It's
I have it
gone
on
for- yeah.
on my hard drive,
Yeah,
on my external hard drive. I'll never delete it.
yeah. You gotta hang on. That's a piece
Mhm.
of gaming history right there, for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I won't go any more into it. Those are two Dead
Yeah,
Space.
geez,
and PT.
Derek, too spooky.
Ooh,
Too
sorry.
spooky.
Yeah.
She's
yeah.
always following you.
So it's funny. I was digging up some of the old articles that I wrote for the gaming group at my old job. And one of the articles I wrote was during October. It was like the top 5 scary games to play during Halloween. And I was like, holy crap, I wrote an article on this. I'm not going to read the article, don't worry. But I figured I'd quickly list off the games. So I wrote down Dead Space, Silent Hill 3, Ju-On the Grudge, Eternal Darkness, and Until Dawn. Now, in particular, I would say Ju-On the Grudge, which is a Wii game, and it's kind of like a haunted house simulator. And it even detects how much you shake the Wiimote and like grades you, like were you jump scared, were you startled, did you shake too much, which I think is kind of a cool mechanic because
That is cool.
it's jump scare the game
Yeah.
basically. And then Until Dawn is just like a cheesy, campy teen horror movie that you play,
Yes.
and it's really fun with a
So
group.
good.
So if you're gonna have a party or have friends over, and you have access, you're gonna have an easier time getting a hold of Until Dawn because it's so cheap and they've given it away a couple times. But if you can track it down or you see it in the wild, Ju-On the Grudge, I think, is another worthy spooky game to look for. So I hope that answers your question, Shannon. Thank you so much for writing in with the question. Very cool. And before we get out of here today, I just gotta know one question. This week, Derek, what you feeling?
I am feeling a couple of Korean movies since we've been on that kick since Squid Game.
Mhm.
The first is Train to Busan, which came out in 2016, and it's a movie about a zombie outbreak in Korea.
Train to
And-
Busan?
Yes.
Okay.
And the main characters, they get on a train, obviously. There's a zombie outbreak, and shenanigans ensue. I haven't finished it yet. I think we were watching it last night, and we have like a half hour left, and everybody got sleepy. So I was just like, okay, fine, we'll finish it later.
Oh yeah, sounds interesting.
But I kept hearing about it, like Train to Busan. Oh, so great. So okay, fine, I'll watch it. And what I've seen so far is very, very enjoyable.
Yeah, I was being sarcastic because it put everybody to sleep.
All right.
Don't start a horror movie at 3 a.m, man.
Right? But the other movie is Parasite. And this is another Korean film that came out in 2020. Or 2019, I'm sorry.
Didn't this win an Oscar?
And, yeah, it won an Oscar. And it won multiple awards. And I don't even want to spoil what it's about. Because I thought it had something to do with, like, zombies and shit.
No.
It has nothing to do with zombies and shit. Just because the name was Parasite. But it is...
Yeah, it's more... For people who are scared off by that, it's not really, like, gory or horror. Parasite is more of a metaphorical term, and it's more about class. We could say that, right?
Yeah. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
When you mentioned it earlier, I thought you were talking about the anime. That's why I got confused. But I've seen the movie.
Yeah, we got to talk about it. But it's such a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
It took me by surprise. It's so funny watching all this Korean stuff now. I start to see like the same actors and stuff, and I'm starting to notice like who are the kind of big stars and whatnot. And it's just cool to me. I don't know. So
oh snap! That's the Brad Pitt of South Korea.
Right. In Train to Busan, one of the main characters is somebody that plays in Parasite. And I was like, oh, that's the guy from Parasite.
Oh,
sweet.
Hey.
Oh, the main character in Train to Busan is the super hot guy from Squid Game. The guy that all the women in my house are like slobbering over the dude who invites Gi-hoon to play the Squid Game. Like,
the guy that slaps the shit out of everybody.
Yes.
Yeah,
he's considered the hot one.
Oh, who do you consider the hot one? Because I think he's hot.
I mean, he's like metrosexual hot. You know, he's really well put together. He's well dressed. So that may not be your bag if you're not into like, you know, dudes who get manicures. Which shade. I get
manicures.
I would get manicures if I could afford them. You know what I mean?
Right. So, but yeah, no, the hot guy from Squid Game.
Okay. Quote unquote. Depending on who you are.
Right. But yeah, that's what I'm feeling this week. Mike, what are you feeling?
I'm feeling the YouTube channel. And the most recent video that they put out was about envy and just how that relates to social media. It's kind of topical to talk about this channel because we were talking about the Chappelle special last week and just a huge misunderstanding about the trans community and a large amount of ignorance about where they're coming from, why certain rhetoric is harmful to them. And I think that sometimes it's better just to listen to somebody from that community. So there's a trans woman on YouTube who goes by Contrapoints. Her name is Natalie Wynn. And she's extremely smart, very well versed in philosophy, has done a lot of talks on justice and, you know, history of different things. Everything I know about incels, like their whole language and ideology, the red pill and all that bullshit, I learned from like one of her videos because she just deep dives into it. And fascinating what she comes up with and the research she does and the viewpoints that she has. So if you're into like huge feature-length think pieces on YouTube, if that's your bag, if that's what you like to get into, and I know that's not for everybody, but I'm really into stuff like that, then if you haven't already found her channel, I would highly recommend Contrapoints. That's what I'm feeling this week. Ooh. All right. Well, we're going to take a quick word from our sponsor, Anchor, but please stick around because we're going to let you know how you can get a hold of Danny and check out her super awesome channel. Be right back. All right. And we're back. What a great ad that was. It's the same ad we do every week. One day we'll get sponsored by Taco Bell. Anyways, so if the folks out there are interested, they're liking what they're hearing about this really cool TikTok channel, where can they locate you at, Danny?
So I am on TikTok. Unfortunately, I don't have any other form of social media other than TikTok, and my @ is just Daniellesgames. Simple as that. I try to upload videos every day, but sometimes I don't. Great. People test me on there to see if I have games, and most of the time I do, but
you hear
sometimes
that, folks?
I don't.
You hear that, folks?
If
you think of a very obscure PS2 or PS1 game, Danny's saying she's got you. She's got that game. For sure. 100%. So test her on it. Check out her channel. Follow her. Give her some likes. give her some love. And while you're at it, if you're looking to maybe buy some games because you're inspired by her collection, we have our very own Full Metal Merc from Gamer Goodies and More. If the folks at home are looking for gamer goodies, possibly more, Derrick, where can they locate you at?
They can check out the eBay store at ebay.com/str/gamergoodies and more. Right now, through the end of October, I'm running 20% off on all items $19.99 to $99.99. So get in there before the end of the month to get some sweet deals. I'm on Instagram at GamerGoodiesMore and on Twitter at goodies_more.
All right, and don't forget, we upload new episodes to our hub at anchor.fm/player2 as Enter the Pod every single Sunday. But our podcast is available on other platforms like Breaker, Google Podcast, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. You can find us on all the social medias. We're on TikTok.com/player2 as Enter the Pod, Facebook.com/player2 as Enter the Pod, YouTube, Player2 as Enter the Podcast. Subscribe, follow us, give us some likes, review us, wherever you find us. It helps. And if you really want to help, I'm talking like help, we got a Patreon too, so check it out, patreon.com/player2 as Enter the Pod. You can contact us on social media or by emailing us directly, mcpaperstacks@gmail.com, if you have listener questions, suggestions, feedback, etc. If you want to find me personally, I'm on Twitter, at MikePetersonAL. I do Twitch streaming on Fridays at 10 p.m. Eastern. That's twitch.tv/mcpaperstacks. Right now I'm playing through The Evil Within. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is our show. A very special thank you to our guest, Daniellesgames.
Yes,
very special thank you to our listeners out there. We appreciate you coming out and listening to us. We love you, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Peace.